I think the idea of an extraterrestrial invasion is a little far-fetched. I think it seems more likely that we're probably dealing with an ambush orchestrated by the Mercs. So I'm sending out a rescue team within the hour to pick up Gamma and bring them back. If we're lucky, this will all turn out to be nothing. But it's just as likely that the Mercs are involved, and if that's the case, you need to prepare yourselves because this could be the beginning of something very nasty. Until we know more, I don't see any reason why the Hive needs to be alerted. The last thing we need is panic here. So for now, nobody says anything to anybody.
1P11. How come nobody ever told us about this? Why are we just hearing about this now?
Naturally, over time, our ancestors realized the enormous consequence of their betrayal. They were afraid and embarrassed. They assumed that if they took this planet over for themselves, they'd become as powerful as the Council of Three. Well, what they failed to realize was, without the protection, provision, operational oversight of the homeworld, they were grossly incapable of gleaning this planet's resources efficiently. They were sent here to do a job, but they were never meant to stay here forever.
So why didn't they just apologize? Go back on their knees and beg the council for their old jobs back?
Some of them did. All of us still could, for that matter. But most of them were too prideful or ashamed. They stayed underground, pretending everything was fine, like they hadn't done anything wrong. It was an uncomfortable subject, so nobody brought it up, and over time, whole generations forgot about it completely.
Wait, you said some of us still could. You mean we've been living in darkness for 300 years? Scraping duranium with primitive tools, drinking sludge, and fighting off mercs with our own hands
while another life that was meant to be yours all along sat right here on the surface. Come on. Let me show you what you call home.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, excuse me.
Heather! Hold up a second. Hi. Where are you girls going?
We're not going anywhere. It's you that always has somewhere more important to be.
Listen, Heather, don't be like that. You know how my job is.
I know how you are.
Listen, I've got something I need to talk to you about, all right? Could you girls give us just a second, please?
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Listen, you can't tell any of your friends, but we lost contact with one of our ranger teams on the surface today.
Which team, Dad?
Now wait, it's not what you think.
Dad, which team?
Gamma team, Heather. Jay's team.
So you work for the homeworld?
Yeah, that's right. My name is Dr. James Elliott. I'm a direct descendant of some of those who originally left the caverns and threw themselves at the mercy of the Three. In addition to gleaning duranium for the homeworld, I protect the flight recorder and occasionally help others to see the truth it contains.
Are there more of us like you?
A few, but there's still far more in the hive than on the surface.
If what you're saying is true, then why haven't more people moved up here?
Well, it's a combination of things, really. Our fear of being rejected and ultimate lack of concern for those below. Your unwillingness to hear the truth and stubborn refusal to accept it when you hear it. You'd be surprised how many people have seen that recorder and ignored it or written it off as fake.
You have to come back with us. The whole hive needs to see that recorder.
Don't forget, this information's been around since the crash. And as I said, there's many in the caverns who've already heard this information I just told you, still choose to live as if they belong here. Look.
This whole thing was an ambush. The mercs set us up.
No, Ellie was just here. They must have taken him too.
I should have known this was too weird to be real. We should have never left our weapons back at the tent.
Look. I'm sorry. We got way too comfortable. I didn't think they'd bother you too.
They bother me just as much as anybody else. I'm just more prepared to defend myself against their attacks.
Homeworld technology is a wonderful thing.
Look, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't want to go on living beneath the surface. Before today, I couldn't figure out the point of this, but now I get it. I don't want to go on living my life like that. Dr. Elliott, how do I pledge allegiance to the Council of Three?
You're sure that that's what you want? Identify yourself, explain your regret over your failure, and pledge your allegiance.
Wait a second, Jay. You're not serious. You haven't given this any thought. What about Heather? What about her dad?
Beak, there's nothing to think about. I'm not from this place and neither are they. I'm not going to keep acting like this is my home. My life was meant for more than this. The same is true for Heather and the General. I'm going to go home and make sure they know that.
You can't just jump into something like this. We've never even seen this guy before today.
No, Jay's right. It's not about Elliot. It's about the flight recorder and the truth about our lives on this planet. I'll take that communicator after you.
First, it was more of an echo than an actual signal, and when the signal finally did come in strong, they were only showing 2 of Gamma team members on screens. When they got to the basin where the signal originated, all 4 team members were present, as well as the unidentified 5th guy who we've got holding the cell. The strange thing is only 2 of the Gamma team members were showing up on screens, and one of them, Jay, you know, Heather's Jay, he's one of the ones that doesn't have a signal. All right. Ranger Carey, can you give me some information about where you and your team have been for the last 24 hours?
Yes, sir. But I first must request that Dr. Elliott be released from lockup. He's not a member of the Hive and therefore is not subject to your authority.
Not a member of the Hive? Where did he come from? Outer space?
Originally, yes. We're all from outer space originally.
Johnson, keep your mouth shut. I'm not sure I understand where you've been or what you're all talking about. And until I do, your Dr. Elliott stays right where he is.
Fine, sir.
Now let's start at the top and you give me the information I'm looking for. And don't forget to include what's going on with your uniforms and that traitorous lack of Hive insignia.
Yes, sir. But you should know, sir, that Ranger Johnson and I have relinquished our positions with the Rangers and are terminating our citizenship of the Hive effective immediately.
General, when you terminating your position in the Hive?
So how are you? You know, guarding seems like a pretty good gig. There's all the standing, the guarding, the scary looks. What are these bars made of anyway? They sure are shiny, whatever they are. You know, that's going the extra mile. Thanks for taking pride in a job well done. You want to hear a song? Huh? Oh rabbit, got stuck inside my shoe. Oh rabbit, whatever will I do? I'll stomp and stomp and stomp and stomp and strike an angry pose. But all that stomping got me was a carrot up my nose. Ha! 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 Hey, come back. Look, I won't sing anymore. Sorry.
Good evening, Dr. Elliott.
Good evening. Do I know you?
In a way. You were warned, right? That if you continue to spread traitorous materials, there would be a consequence?
Look, people have the right to know that this is not their home. I've kept that quiet for too long. I didn't even go looking for those scouts. They found me, and you know what? I'm glad that they did. I should have been down here pushing the truth long before they came.
Well, I hope your trip was worth it. I've come to give you what was promised.
So let me get this straight. You expect me to believe that we're all from some other planet. None of us actually belong here, and this entire time that we've been struggling to survive, that's just because our ancestors were rebels and we're just continuing what they started.
That's correct, sir. We were sent here to glean resources from this planet for the good of the homeworld, under the authority of the Council of Three.
And you believe this idiotic nonsense as well?
Ranger Carey described exactly what was on the flight recorder. It's not nonsense, sir.